Now, potato salad is a quintessential summer barbecue side dish. I love it year round, but let's be real. A lot of people bring this to picnics, to parties, to things during the summer. And today, I'm gonna be making a potato salad that's got a little bit of a different twist on it because we're gonna be making some crispy garlic to go with it. We'll get to that garlic in just a few minutes, but I wanna prep some of the other ingredients first. Starting with these green onion ends, because we're gonna be using sort of the white portion from right about here down. So first thing I wanna do is I wanna cut off the very end here, this hairy part. You aren't gonna need that. And then I just wanna slice this thinly. You just want these nice little rounds. And it is gonna be a little bit of the green here, but mostly it's gonna be that white part. Let's get another one ready here. So we're using the ends of 4 green onions here. And you want to get them as thin as you can, but if they aren't super thin, that's all right. That's what I'm looking for. Let's move on to our celery. Now I have 2 stalks of celery here, and I'm just going to cut the ends off here so we have mostly the green part. So like these pieces. We're going to take these, we're going to split them down the middle, and then we are going to chop these. Again, fairly small. They don't need to be slivered. Just small pieces, like that. Next up, I have about a tablespoon of capers. And we're gonna get a really nice thin dice on these. No, we're not, we're just gonna chop these. Just break them down. Gotta work back and forth until everybody's chopped up a little bit, just like that. Now I have some hard-boiled eggs here, and I'm gonna be doing 6 total. And the way I'm gonna break them down is, first I'm gonna go across, then I'm gonna go across those halves, and then I'm gonna go across those. So basically we're breaking each egg down into 8 parts. Now don't stress too much over this because these are gonna break up as they get mixed up in the potato salad. That's natural, but this is what we're starting with. So once again, half, 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 and half. 8 pieces. Just like that. All right, let's move on to the garlic, the star of our show. So I have the equivalent of about a dozen average garlic cloves here that have been peeled. Some are a little smaller. What I'm gonna do, first I'm gonna clean off the ends here. Then I'm gonna break these down into, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch thick pieces. And then those, I'm gonna give a rough dice to. They're not gonna be super small. So just like that, like little nuggets. That's what we want. I'll do another one here. This one right here, you can see just sort of garlic nuggets. Kind of what you might have if you had like crushed peanuts, because that's what this almost looks like after you crisp this up in the oil. They have that dark color of like little peanut nuggets. Take off our ends, get them into some planks, and then break those planks down. And each garlic clove is a little bit different size, so they're not all gonna cut the same. You just want roughly the same shape pieces at the end there, like that. All right, I'm gonna break the rest of these down and then we're gonna move on to crisping them up. So I have a saucepan out here on my induction burner. This will just make it easier for everyone to see. When I do turn this on, there's a little bit of a fan noise, you might hear that. And I'm starting off with this cold here. This is very important. We're not gonna preheat anything here. Gonna go ahead and put our garlic pieces in here. And now I'm gonna add some vegetable oil. You could use canola oil, something like that. And I'm just adding enough oil to kind of cover these and give them a little bit of oil above them. It doesn't have to be a lot of oil in here. You just want them to have something to float in. Now I'm gonna turn this on to sort of a low simmer. I want the heat to build up in here because we're gonna crisp these gently. We're not sort of deep frying them, throwing into super hot oil. We want the heat to be gentle so we can get that golden brown color to develop more slowly. We don't want to burn them. So on my induction burner, I'm going to start at like power level 3. And as it starts heating up, you definitely want to make sure you stir these every minute or so. And if at any time this starts to look like it's getting too hot and you see color developing too quickly, turn your heat down. If you're on just a regular stove with a flame, just keep it low. You're building this up slowly. That's the key here. Start with a cold pan, cold oil, bring everything up to temperature gradually. You just start to see the little ripples in there in the oil as it's starting to heat up, some of the bubbles coming up. You can really see that bubbling starting now. If there's a lot of moisture in your garlic pieces, if they're very fresh, you can get some sort of frothing in there as that moisture boils off. But this is looking good right now. We've been going about 4 minutes. Turn my power level down to 2, and I'm gonna turn it down to 1 now, so that we're just on a really, really gentle simmer here with this oil. Remember to stir. And we're actually just starting to get a little bit of color in there. Might be hard to see on camera, but some of these are just getting that little sort of tawny gold color on their edges. You just want to keep your eye on this, because as soon as they have the color you want to turn the heat off and get them out of the oil and onto a paper towel lined plate to sort of get the oil off of them and let them cool a bit. And you might see there's a little bit of green bits right here, some of the garlic sort of stems that got stuck in there. Don't worry about that. We can pull those out before we use it in our recipe. Oh, it is smelling great. The garlic, oh. You can see we are starting to get some more color on these. And one thing I can say here is this. It's better to err on the side of these being a little too light than too dark. Once you get into that too dark stage where they're too brown, that's where you can get some bitterness. So we're gonna let these go a couple minutes, but keep watching them here and stirring. But they're just starting to get that sort of golden color over almost all of them now. It's not a deep dark brown, and we're not going for a deep dark brown, but we want them to be a little darker than this, so we're gonna keep watching them. At this point, we've been going about 10 minutes, but every stove is gonna be different, so you're just gonna have to watch them. That's the way to do this. And I'm on power level 2 right now. I've been alternating between 1 and 2. I'm gonna go down to 1 again. Oh, they're starting to get that brown on them. Just a little bit more here. And that is looking good to me. I'm gonna go ahead and kill the heat, and we're gonna transfer these out of here onto a paper towel lined plate, let them drain off and let them cool. You can see that nice brown color right there, just golden. Oh, those look good and they smell great. Little golden garlic nuggets. And we're gonna use about 2/3 of these to mix into our potato salad, and the other 1/3 is gonna be for garnish. So here we have our little garlic nuggets drying on the paper towel, draining, cooling down. And when they are nice and cooled down, we're gonna go ahead and finish making this crispy garlic potato salad. So before we start making the dressing, I wanted to show you the potatoes I used. Now I boiled these up earlier. These are small red potatoes that I cut in half. You can just see the size of those there. And if some of them were a little bit bigger, I cut them into thirds. But what I want to do is I want to take 2 of these out of here because we're going to use this to help thicken our dressing a bit. So we're gonna make our dressing in this bowl, and these 2 pieces of potato, I just wanna mash these up a little bit, break them up, get them in here. They're gonna squish around in the dressing and help thicken it up a little bit. And I leave the skins on when I'm making my potato salad, especially with the red potatoes. I love that. So you just want that squished up in there a little bit. Now the main ingredient to our dressing is gonna be mayonnaise. I'm starting with 1.5 cups, but we may need to add more. It's always easier to add more than to remove. Next, I'm adding a tablespoon of distilled white vinegar, 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, 1 teaspoon of a coarsely ground black pepper. Let's get our capers in here. I'm also going to add about 2 tablespoons of a spicy brown mustard. You could use Dijon mustard, yellow mustard. I just like the spicy brown. So about 2 tablespoons. And I'm going to mix this all together here. Now come our main ingredients. Let's get our potatoes in here. And this is 3 pounds of these small red potatoes. You could use regular sized red potatoes and just cut them up smaller. And these have been chilled for several hours. I like them nice and cold, especially if I'm using a mayonnaise-based dressing. Sometimes I've done a grilled potato salad, but that dressing has a little bit more of a vinegar-based, sort of a vinaigrette. Let's give this a toss first before we add anything else. Get our potatoes nice and coated. And this is the type of thing that you can really make your own. If you want potatoes that are different, potatoes that are smaller, go ahead. If you like a different dressing, you could change it up because it's really the crispy garlic that is the unique thing here that we're adding to this. I'm gonna go ahead and add our hard-boiled eggs and our celery, our scallions, and 2/3 of our crispy garlic. And we're gonna mix. This is a very hearty potato salad. Some people like the potatoes cut smaller, and that's fine. I like them big like this. Some people like to add paprika, things like that. Perfectly fine. That's looking good. Let's go ahead and dish some of this up and get it garnished. We're gonna get some of our potato salad in this little bowl here. Kind of a small serving bowl, or an individual serving if you're me. Because this is great potato salad. It's very similar to the recipe I did for my mom's potato salad. She made great potato salad. I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle some chives on here too. Chives are always good with potatoes, potato salad, fried potatoes, baked potatoes, mashed potatoes. And now some of our crispy garlic pieces. These have such a nice flavor and such a nice textural addition to something like potato salad. I used these in another video, which was really fun, which was making a brisket sundae. So I had pieces of brisket in a little like ice cream bowl, and then I had mashed potatoes on top to look like a scoop of ice cream, and then these on top to look like little nuts. That was a really fun video. I'll put a link to that in the video description so you can check it out. And here we have it, our crispy garlic potato salad. It's looking terrific. I'm diving in. So let's get down in here, get a nice piece with a little bit of everything on it, some of our chives, some of our crispy garlic. Let's see how it tastes. That crispy garlic brings so much to this. The flavor, the texture, it's something you don't really expect in a potato salad because you get that crunch and you get that intense garlic punch. It is fantastic.